I've been wanting to make a video like this for a long time and show you kind of a ritual that I go through when it comes to getting ready for gigs. This video has the potential to be a little bit long, so I'm gonna like speed through parts of it and then kind of talk you through things that I think are relevant. So also, as always, man, if you dig this content that's on this channel, I invite you to hit that subscribe button so that and also the bell notification if you're watching on mobile, and check me out also at Instagram at Son of a Bass. All right, so let's get into it, man. This is a ritual that I go through with most gigs, not all gigs, but most gigs that come up. And even if I know the songs or think I know the songs on the list, so regardless of what you think of Spotify, I'll tell you that I think as a musician, as a working musician, having Spotify is a great tool, because when you're on the gig and you're trying to, I see guys, man, with their iPhones and stuff like that, and trying to listen to clips on YouTube and learn songs and shed and all that, and for me it's too cumbersome. It just, it's just worth it for me to pay the subscription fee and have it, and I write it off at the end of the year. So anyway, I've got a string of gigs with my buddy Prince, not that Prince, another Prince, who you may have heard of. His name is Prince Damons, fantastic musician. But the guy, is he's very detail oriented, which I appreciate. And so a guy that's as detail oriented as he is, you want to come, or I want to come with my A game as well. So anyway, he's gone through the trouble of sending out a song list the way that most band leaders do. So I have the list, as you can see here on the right now. A lot of these songs I know already, but let's take a look at what he says here, and I'm gonna blur out things like his phone number and stuff like that. So this is for an AKA event. It's a sorority convention, and in the red it says all songs will be played in the original key. See, that's an important thing to know right off the bat. All songs will be played in the original keys unless stated otherwise. So somewhere in this song list, there may be a note or something like that. So this is why I go through this process of going through, not assuming that I know everything on the song list, but going through and really looking. I see something right off the bat. I'm looking at the Cruisin' D'Angelo. Now there's a Cruisin' D'Angelo version. There's a Smokey Robinson version. Obviously, Smokey Robinson is the original, but the D'Angelo version, especially nowadays, is really, really popular. And there's some subtle differences. It's basically, the same thing, same song, but D'Angelo's got some more neo soul type of arrangement. So first off, I see that it's moved up to the key of G, right? So if I just get this information and I ignore it, then man, I'm out. I'm looking unprofessional on the bandstand when it just comes up, because people aren't talking about songs in between and all that. They're just calling them, right? So also another one, Benny King, Stand By Me, is in B flat. Now I'm gonna save you all of that. I'm just gonna I'm not save you from all that, but I don't want to go too far ahead. So also, here's another important thing. The set list order may be moved around, so please be flexible. And what that means, if you're not familiar, and I'm assuming that if you're watching this video trying to get out there and get this kind of part of your game together, this is what is sometimes known as set surfing. So anything is going to be called. So it's like the player's job to know what's on this list, right? You don't want to be looking like, well, I ain't learned that, or I don't know that, or something like that. Especially this gig is, as of today, this gig is like 2 weeks away, right? So there's absolutely, bless you, that's my wife. We share an office together, and my baby girl just sneezed. So Yeah. So there's no reason not to know this, know the material. So anyway, so what I do, right, and this is 3 sets on one sheet, but it's a 4-day event. All right, and so this is just, there's a couple of other sheets. I'm just gonna go through this one, and I'm gonna show you what I do. I go over to Spotify, and you can do this. I mean, you don't have to use Spotify, but Spotify works for me. And I'm gonna put Prince D, aka Convention, because that's the event, right? I don't need to do a description or anything like that. I'm gonna create the set list, and Prince and I have worked together on a few different projects. We did what did see? I got a lot of different set lists over here. I just lost it. There it is. It's the first one, and obviously nothing on this list yet. Prince and I have done. We did Tidra Moses together and B Slade and some other stuff, but we're just, anytime my relationship with him is fairly new, so anytime I get, especially a new artist, when you playing with somebody for a little while, you don't really have to do that so much, but when there's somebody that's kind of new, until you have their whole bag down, I do this. Also, this is sort of kind of, a one-off event, it may turn into something more, but I don't know. As far as I know right now, it's a one-off event. So anyway, I make the the list, and this is the part that I'm going to just kind of breeze through, and if I have to stop and talk about something, I'll slow the video down and speak about that particular point. Also, what I'll do is I'll annotate times in the description, so it'll be easier to navigate this video. Okay, so I'm gonna just go on and go through the list. This particular set is only, another good point, this particular set list is only for Thursday, March 9th and Friday, March 10th. Okay, so this is Thursday and Friday. There's a Saturday and a Sunday portion of the gig, right? And also there's different singers, so if there's different singers, it's probably gonna be a different list, right? So anyway, here we go. Let me talk about this real quick. So I searched for Mercy 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 by Paul Brown. This is like one of those standard songs, and I'm specifically pulling this version because it is specified as Paul Brown on the set list, and so I want to make sure that I listen to that and know this arrangement, because if there's anything that's different in this arrangement that's from any other arrangement that I've heard, again, I'm responsible for deferring to what's on the set list, what's specified on the set list. Another cool thing about making a Spotify playlist, and sometimes I use Evernote as well, as far as like saving set lists and whatnot. For instance, like with Zigaboo Modalise, me and the keyboard player, the keyboard player actually started it. An Evernote folder with like every set list we've ever played with Zig. So why? Because so we have a record when you get to the gig and we're talking about songs or whatever. For me, I always start like drawing blanks and stuff, right? So it's good for me to have a record. If I've got a Spotify playlist and let's say I get to a joint and there's cats that I'm just meeting or whatever, and there's that conversation of what do you know, what have you played, blah 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 blah. I can go right to my phone, right to my Spotify playlist, and say, hey, let's play this. Hey, let's play this. Let's play that. I got a record. I got a list in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? So that's another great thing about having Spotify. Okay, let me stop here and talk about this one real quick. Summertime. Okay. Now, summertime is a standard. Another thing that I may do is I may highlight or annotate things in a certain way just to make sure that I've done something about them on the list. Again, what I'm doing right now is before I even put my bass in my hand and start shedding on the material, this is the warm up, right? This is making sure that I've gone through the set list with a fine tooth comb. So, summertime, here's a note that if I just skimmed over the list, I could have met. Number one, summertime, we're talking about the standard summertime, okay? So that may or may not be on Spotify. That's a standard. So there's, I'm sure there's a version of summertime. Like, for instance, I think Fantasia's got a version of summertime, right? But I don't necessarily. I mean, I could put this on the list, and I'll say this only because of these two singers are very soulful, very neo soul gospel singers, and they could pull a lot of that Fantasia vibe out of this, right? So, that's why. But otherwise, I might leave this off, or or something like that, but not ignore it. I'm talking about leave it off the Spotify playlist. Notice it's in G minor for one singer and A minor for another singer. So just going through the rest of these instrumentals, these two songs, Let's Stay Together and Ain't No Sunshine, play them all the time. But Ain't No Sunshine is in A minor, I believe, in the original key. But here's a note for C minor. Here's another. These two I don't play as much, so I might bold them to make sure that I address them. But let me continue doing what I'm doing, and again I'll stop and talk when I feel like there's something I need to share with you. I'll stop and let you know. But otherwise, you can watch the sped up version of what I'm doing here. Also, get this. Not only is the benefit of doing this having a list, having a kind of a living record of set lists and music that you've played, but at the gig, on the way to the gig, that hangout time when I may just be by myself or whatever, I can listen to this music and have this music kind of in my in my brain. You know what I'm saying? It's as opposed to listening to whatever and then getting on the gig and not being in the headspace of this particular gig. So yeah. Yo, this song, "What You Won't Do for Love," this is also has become a standard. But there's one thing: if you try to learn this and play this with the studio recording, you may notice that it's out of tune. So you'll have to deal with that if you're trying to play along with the recording. Now here's a new feature that a newish feature that I wasn't really hip to with Spotify, but create a folder. So I'm gonna change something here. I'm gonna go Prince D, aka Gig, and I'm gonna rename this playlist. I'm gonna rename this playlist Set 1 and put that inside that folder. Now I'm gonna make another playlist and call it Set 2. And see, they all reside now in that folder. This is easy money right here. Stand By Me, but Stand By Me, B flat. That song, I believe, is in G. So again, really good to make note of this. Also, what I'm going to do is I know that there are two versions, and just from my own record or curiosity or whatever, I'm going to put both of those. They're both well-known versions. Benny King is the original, and then you got, I think Benny King is the original. I'm pretty sure he is. But anyway, Um, I'll take you there. Yeah, this is easy money, man. This is easy money. So far, nothing but. So I like the Bag Lady by Erykah Badu and the Yearning are two that I need to look at. So again, there's another benefit, and that is that as I go through this, I can say, okay, I know this, I know this, I know this. I need to brush up on this. And what constitutes knowing a song? That means if I know a tune, if I can get to the gig and somebody says, "Can you play this?" and I say yes, and I play it, I know where all the sections are. I know what the bridge is, all that. That's knowing a song. All right. So if there's something that I don't really, if I gotta think, you know what I mean? I gotta go back and look at that, and then that informs what my practice time is gonna be. That informs what I'm gonna do in the shed, right? So just something to be aware of, because a lot of times we get like, well, what should I practice, and what, blah 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 blah. It's like, well, you should practice that. You should practice what you are good at. So, where was I? I'll take you there. Is that on there? Yep. Long Walk. And I know somebody's saying, well, why are you going through all of this? Once again, should I get called for this particular gig again? We don't really have to have a whole lot of discussion or whatever. Also, if a band leader knows, let me give you a little bit of a secret, man. Band leaders don't always call the dude that's got all the chops. You know what I mean? Because you might have all the chops, but if you can't play all the songs, well, then you're not really that much of an asset to the band. So, my girl, why am I adding this to the list? Well, you know why? I just told you. Outstanding. You got the bass player song. You gotta know that. You knock me out. So there's set 2. Let's go to set 3. See, this is moving fast, and so far we haven't run into anything too crazy. New playlist. We're gonna call this set 3. Yep. Set 3. Now this is another one. Tell me if you want me to. I mean, it's an old neo soul classic, but I've never really played that with a band. So, Chain of Fools. That's a standard. Everybody should know. Love on Top. I don't really play this like that. But I'm going to put it on. I've played it before, but again, I don't really have it in my mental Rolodex. Like, I could just pull it out like that. I mean, I could fake it, but, just FYI, I got to admit, I have a very love-hate relationship with Prince's music being on Spotify. I'm just going to say that right now, just because I know my man kind of, bucked the system a lot behind that. But, rest in peace, P. Miss you, bro. All right. Before I let go. Da, 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 da. That's another one. Bass player, you need to know that. Superstition, okay? If you don't know Superstition, then you got bigger problems to So dig, man. Everything that I've done right now, I've created playlists, right, that mirror the set list. I've gone through each set list. I'm gonna also make, even though it says extras if needed, I still want to do that. I still want to make that happen. So let's go and get this in here real quick. Nope, I don't want to do that. Let's go. Proud Mary. Proud Mary, keep on running. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the rail. You did, we like to party. Never played this before. Party by Beyonce. Man, I would tell y'all this story about this little kid. One of my students, man. He got a thing for his tablet. His little tablet. He was watching watching Beyonce and just grinning. He's a little kid. So, yeah, I guess you know. I can't talk about my man, but it was funny. Alright. I like that. What you like about it? I like the dancing. I bet you do. We're gonna have a funky good time. Funky good time. Alright. So, also, now this funky good time, the JB, I don't think this is, you know, most people just play the. So, anyway, here we go, man. Holy crap. I just added that entire record to the extras. I did not mean to do that. So let me, not that I have anything against this record, but that's not what I meant to do. So let me take these off. There we go. Funky good time. We're gonna have a funky good time.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are Selling acknowledged.
Oh, yeah, bam! I'm thinking about it. I don't know what I was thinking about. Yes, this is what I want. So, anyway, that is real fast, man. I don't know how long that took me. I'll have to look at the recording, but that's a little bit of a ritual that I go through with especially new gigs, man, or if there's new material or whatever. Again, most of these songs, as you can see by the songs I highlighted, like 95% of the songs I know on this list. I mean, we could bounce, boom, 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 boom. We could jump all over this list, and I would know most of the songs. But my job is not to know most of the songs. My job is really to know all of these songs that are on the list, because that's what the band leader sent out. So I hope that you've enjoyed this quick video. I think this is one of those things that doesn't get talked about too much, like really kind of prepping for the gig. I mean, maybe it does, and I haven't noticed it, but anyway, that's how I do it. I would love to know how you set up and prepare for gigs, man. Also, like, a lot of questions, you know, a question that I hear a lot is, you know, how do I learn a lot of songs? Well, my tip for that is, if you want to learn a lot of songs, you really have to learn a lot of songs. And so yeah, man, you know, and keep record of the songs that you're learning. So you don't just learn them for one thing and then, you know, they fall out of the window. You know what I mean? So anyway, if you like this content, again, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification little icon if you're watching on mobile. Hit me up on Instagram at Son of a Bass. And I'll catch you in the next one, man. Peace.